Welcome to Scoping Out Tools, and today it is Parkside hook and loop strips. So if I have actually opened this already, so I'm just peeling it back. So it's a 50 pack, 5 colours: yellow, blue, orange, red. There are a pack of 10 each colour, and if I think I've got one separated out already. This is the hooky part, and the other side is the fibre part. I've had a look at this in the optical microscope, and basically you'll be able to see in the next part what they actually look like. Standard Velcro, which I believe Velcro is the brand name, so that's why they call it hook and loop and not Velcro strips. And yeah, so we're going to be comparing the optical image to the electron microscope image. I will be at relatively low magnifications for this because there's nothing really to see on it. And so yeah, so let's pop over to the electron microscope. I very much doubt there's anything of interest chemically about it, but we'll just see what we see. Looking at the Velcro strip under the microscope, we can see first of all there's a weave, but the bits of interest is these areas that are out of focus. If I just change that back all the way, we can sort of start to see that it's a little bit coiled around, and then we get to see that there's the edge there. These are the hooks that are going to actually capture it. So it might be easier if we just zoom out a bit. We can really get the idea about how you've got all these different hooks. Now it's a bit difficult to see because we've got blue on blue background. So let's actually just tilt it this way. Right. And I might just move it to here. Okay, so hopefully what we're seeing now, let's just go up in magnification again. And this is actually how it's gripping. So you can see that you've got different directions for the hook. So you can see how this one is forcing towards you, this one is facing back, this one is facing curving to the side, this is facing 2 o'clock position. So all different directions. That means that if we actually have a look at the fibre part, you can see the fibre part is just a mixture of very fine fibre direction. It's random. So that's how your plastic hooks capture it. They just, when they get pressed together, the hook moves in on it, it gets past it, it hooks around your fine fibre that holds onto it. Then when you pull it apart, eventually you'll get tension, but then as soon as you add enough pressure, you pull it, you'll bend the little hook away, and then it'll jump back in place, and that's why you can reuse the Velcro on and on and on. So let's actually have a little look at this under the electron microscope. Hello, so let's actually have a look at the Velcro. So let's bring up the camera, and we are good to go. So I've just moved over to the Velcro loops, or the not Velcro loops, and you can see how they are actually going underneath the woven part, and then bits are coming up at the top, If I just move the sample slightly, let's just do it as a bit faster just so I can see it. Okay, so here's a nice little head now. If I just do a slow scan, and what we can see is that the head coming out, it looks like a bit like a Graboid from Tremors. I'm just gonna do a quick reduce scan, go up in magnification, bit of focus, and then I'm just gonna come back out, and we can then see a little bit easier the hook part of it. Now if we're just going size wise, can you see that? Yeah, so that you're talking about, it's just about 200 microns across. You've got about 20 microns for the fibers going behind. We'll see those fibers later on because they are woven parts elsewhere. So let's go over to see where they're actually getting grabbed by the, what parts are these hooks grabbing. Now you'll notice that the top of the part of the hook was in focus at the same time as the rest of it. So let's just go for a full screen of that, and you can see that not only is the top of these fibers are in focus, but the bottom is as well, and that's quite useful for investigating because you've got a large depth of focus, which you don't get with the optical. So if I just, for example, I'm just going to do a reduce scan again, just so I can get up higher. And let's just give a bit of focus once more. And there you go. So now we can start to see the small surface details. So about 1,000 times magnification. There's a little bit of charging, that's because it's plastic. Charging is when the electrons can't actually escape, and we've got some particles on top. If I was just going to measure this, I want to just quickly check, and I can just do a quick measurement line on it, and we can see, oh, that's about 50 microns across. Okay, right, so if that is the small fibers going across, let's see what it's like for this pressed area, where the pressed area is where it's been heated and stamped together, and this is what actually groups it together. So we can see that this is your normal mesh. Again, let's just do a little bit of the focus. What are we at? We're at only about 200 times, but what you can see, and we'll see it a little bit easier in the sample that's not been heat treated, so you can see how this has started to melt into each other, and that's because it's been a hot stamp coming down on it. So this is obviously giving us the square features that we see in the optical. It looks a bit like a waffle. But if we were to look at the non-stamped or waffled features, so this is just the back of some of the other stuff, we get to see this is what the woven structure looks like before it gets attached with anything else. And again, this is when we see that they're not perfectly circular, but instead more angular. And if I just go here, and there you go. So you can see actually that they're almost like square shaped as opposed to cylindrical like we were getting with larger looped fibers. Okay. And that concludes the video on the Velcro, or the not Velcro rather. And this one I've actually done from a lab in France that I've got access to, just because I was over here for a meeting anyway. And this may come after another little video that I am actually doing, or the other little video might come afterwards. So as I say, very useful for looking at large depth focus, and we can see different features in the microscope. Bye for now.